knowing what today was going to hold, I start out in Kansas City, Missouri on a trip with my job. UP 7807 East leads train ILXG4, a Los Angeles, California to Joliet, Illinois intermodal train through the West Bottom suburb at 2:30 in the morning. This spot may look familiar to some, but most of you may know it better from above. This is where Virtual Railfan installed a couple of webcams located on the building just to the right of me, only catching the UP rail action. I just so happened to be driving by, and this train approached as soon as I arrived. This weird grade crossing has been placed in the middle of an intersection, having signals from all four directions, which made for an interesting layout. As I get back to Lincoln just after sunrise, my day wasn't over. I get a tip that the UP 4141, the President George H.W. Bush unit, was reported to be on the move out of Council Bluffs, but was already by Missouri Valley heading east on the Boone subdivision. Being this was my last day in the Midwest before going home, I didn't know if I'd see the 4141 while it was still in service. So I drove halfway across Iowa to catch up to it. My only chance though was to go I-80 via Des Moines and cut across towards Marshalltown, where they had a scheduled pickup to be performed. As I got close, the crews passing the train were talking about the 4141 in their consist over the radio.
Got some train nuts following you around with your spot 4141. Yeah, got some foamers that you like. I want them to take pictures of the whole train, not just that motor.
And that was my intended plan, to shoot the whole train as they were a monster. I made it just in time with seconds to spare at Jessup Avenue outside of Lamoille, Iowa, with crossing gates already activating as I was pulling up. What a sight to see, to finally see this beautiful engine in person. The unit that led former President George H.W. Bush's funeral train that attracted thousands of people across the country. I wish I could have been a part of that crowd, but things weren't meant to be, unfortunately. UP's 6472 East leads train MCBPR 23, a Council Bluffs, Iowa to Proviso, Illinois manifest freight train, pulling over 10,000 feet of train, with more to be added once they get to Marshalltown. They came to a stop just before Marsh Avenue outside of Marshalltown, I'd guess to prepare for what they had to pick up in the yard, and changing up the power. I got some photo opportunities of them stopped while I had the chance. I then hopped over to South 6th Street in Marshalltown as they pulled towards the yard. The train comes to a stop just outside yard limits. Being, of course, they were maxed out at over 10,000 feet long, I had to walk my way around to the other side to get to my car. I didn't really plan ahead on that part. I walked over the highway bridge as I see them pull towards the east end of the yard to start their work. So this is what happens when you park your vehicle on the other side of the train. I've probably walked maybe 2 miles or so, and I'm finally coming to the crossing where I parked my van at. Lesson learned. But he's still going in the yard, and there's the mid-train right there. Yep, he's gonna be working here for a little bit. moved to the east end of Marshalltown Yard to keep an eye on the head end power and to see what they would do in changing the consist around. I also took the opportunity to grab a bite to eat, as they had hours of work they had to do. Drop off their cut behind the mid-train DP unit coming out of the yard. They'll then shove back on main track 2, leaving room for their pickup.
MCBPR, all switches line correct where you're moving, main track 2. You have over 98 cars, okay to start them back. Good for a 50 start, 5-0, over. CBPR, main track switch line for a movement, conductor point. Lined up, back 5-0, start over. All correct, over. The Redzone, give me a
What the crew is doing now is shoving back to leave enough room for their pickup, setting the last 3 head-end motors as mid-train distributed power, including the 4141.
You need 3 or can I stop here? Over. Give me about 2 more cars. I'm going to occupy this crossing so they don't go around. 2 cars, here we go. And 1 more, CBPR over. And that'll do when you get stopped, CBPR over. Stopping, CBPR over.
Ricky.
We're ahead over?
Yeah, I got Gary with me. We're gonna go ahead and get these things linked up right here.
Okay, that's what I was planning on doing, over.
Perfect, thank you.
Need also a Redzone with you guys here, make track 2 over. 6472, CBPR, conductor, Redzone, 7 Center, main 2, 12th Avenue. This is main track 2.
The engineer gives the conductor a red zone, in my terminology, a 3-step protection to work in between the engines and freight cars.
Contact brakes over. What about brakes? Tie them over. Yes, we better do that. Good thinking. Thank you, over. Hallucinate, I'll start tying handbrakes and then we'll go into release them, over. Yeah, leave the angle cock alone and we'll do a tie the brakes, do a release, and then we'll close the angle cock, over. Copy. Still have your red zone, so sunset here for you, over.
They now start tying brakes and work on setting the last 3 motors to run as distributed power.
MCBPR, brakes appear to be holding. Set them up, over. Brakes are holding. Okay to set them up. Then what's okay to go and close the angle cock on the NSU, over. Hang on, I'll have to put them in setup mode first, over. Copy that, great, bye.
Brakes are now applied and are being tested to make sure the train doesn't roll when they are released from the head end. The test has to last for 1 minute without rolling before proceeding to the next step.
Yeah, okay, the close angle cock, over. Copy.
They close the angle cock on the 3rd motor to stop the airflow to the train.
Angle cock is closed, can you pin back? CPR? CPR. Angle cock's closed, pin up. Go on hand signal, CPR.
They now slack off from their train, pulling high to the yard switch for their pickup. Before the conductor can throw the switch, he has to go through his safety check, making sure that it's lined properly. He then unlocks it, throws the switch, and then checks it again. With the safety check completed, they can now enter the yard. As the work was just getting started, an eastbound loaded coal train snuck in, led by UP 8616. UP 6472 brings out their first cut out of the yard, while UP 4338 passes by on the main line with train M NPL IX22, running as an extra manifest freight train from North Platte, Nebraska to Livonia, Louisiana. UP6472 picks up GP38-2 734, as well as 7 flat cars loaded with John Deere tractors. This was going to be a nice train to catch once they finish up, but they had lots more work they had to do before departing.
I'll move my Explorer there, sorry. No problem, CB. I'll move it. Yeah! No, there's plenty to pick from out here. Can I move it to be out of your way? They promote most of them. Yeah. Now, mine for 2 rail. Back, 8 hook. CBPR, line for 2 rail. Can utility ground, back 8 hook. That's correct.
They're shoving into another track for the next part of their pickup now.
One more large. And a regular. Half up. 20. And that'll do on the CB.
Hello, Monty, you by radio?
CB, a little stretch.
I am now, over. Go ahead, Brian.
CB.
Yeah, the paperwork here says something about train segment lead to rear is 12,698. I'll get that fixed up.
Why it says that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all train set properly. I don't know. It probably didn't pick up that DPU in there.
CBPR utility Redzone track 2, over. CBPR track 2 utility Redzone centered, over. Alright, thank you. Oh, really? That pin drops and then it did. Utility Redzone, 2 tracks again, maybe. CBPR, track R2, utility Redzone set and centered. Okay to recover? Yeah, give me a second.
Sounds like that last move was a coupling, but something happened and separated the cut, putting the train in emergency. It was a quick recovery, though. UP 8986 West sneaks around the corner on the other side of the train, leading the IG3LB23, heading for Long Beach, California.
there, Johnny. All right, here we go. That'll do, CB. All right, stretch it. Make sure we got it. That'll do. CBPR utility Redzone track again. Over. CBPR track number 2 utility Redzone set uncentered. Over. Thank you.
After a second attempt, they get a successful coupling. As they were moving ahead for the next move, the yardmaster, or whoever was communicating with the conductor, had their updated paperwork ready to go.
Paperwork's ready here, Johnny.
It's 100% accurate.
It's 100% good to go, as is. Oh.
Okay.
Ricky is still giving me that mid-train warning, but that DP warning, but I don't know why. The train set's just fine.
Okay. Nobody doesn't want that George Bush engine in there in the middle. Want that head in.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably supposed to be on the head end.
Yeah. CB, one more. Here we go. Half of that one. That'll do, CB. Stop it, CB. Brian, there's an extra car on this 5 here, or this 2. CB, utility Redzone on the lead. CB, on the lead, utility Redzone set and center. Thank you.
Apparently, they had one extra car in their train that they picked up, so they had to do some more rearranging to set that car out.
Alright, CBPR, utility clear the Redzone. Nice spin back here, I gotta get rid of this one car. CBPR, utility clear. Easy pin, dump in the car. No, good pin, I gotta get rid of it. But don't get crazy. Okay, here we'll give it a try. Alright, here we go. That'll do on the CB, Jeff. Stop it. Yeah, keep getting ahead one when you can. CBPR, utility ground line for track 1. Bring them back, 5, join. CBPR, line to track number 1, utility ground back 5, join over. That's correct. Now we're moving, 5 more. And CB, another 3. 2 cars now, CB2. Last one. Another half car. Now we'll do CB. And CB a little steam wrench. That'll do. MCBPR utility Redzone on track number 1 over. CBPR, track number 1 utility Redzone set and center, over. Thank you.
They've coupled to a track in the yard to set out that one extra car after a few extra moves they had to make. Eventually, they started pulling out to couple back to their train. In the process, UP 7240 sneaks behind heading east with train CNA-OK21, loaded coal from North Antelope Mine, Wyoming to Oak Creek, Wisconsin.
And 4 CB. 4. CB3. CB, a pair. A nice easy stop, probably gates will be going up on the CBPR. Stop. There you go.
They've blocked this crossing for well over 30 minutes while they were working the yard. They pull high to clear for traffic to cross, while the conductor lines the switch back for main track 2 to couple to the engines that will now run as mid-train power.
CBPR, utility ground, back 2 to a crossing, 8 to a joint. CBPR lined up, utility ground, back 2 to crossing, 8 joint over. That's correct, east crossover restore normal 2 to 2. East crossovers restore 2 to 2, thank you. Here. Rolling there, CB, lights and gates, still 2 to the crossing, clear. CB, lights and gates, still 2 to the crossing, clear, keep coming. Yep. crossing occupied, 6 more, joint, 6er.
CB crossing occupied, 6J.
And CB another 4.
1 more.
CB, give me 3. Hey there. Last one. Alpha.
Special 19, 6472, over.
Get a joint. That'll do. CB a little stretch.
Stretch, CB.
They get a successful coupling back on the main line, with the next step being to untie brakes. The engineer gets communication on the head end with the DP units as they open the angle cock.
Okay, well, DPs are talking, over.
What's that?
I said all our DPs are talking, it's all good, over.
Alright. Just kicking off the handbrake's all I need, right? Nothing else inside?
That is correct. That's all you gotta do is handbrakes, over.
The conductor continues to untie handbrakes as they get ready to take this now over 13,000 feet beast eastbound. I went ahead to try and find a good spot to shoot them at, but nothing was popping out at me. I didn't get a lot of my moves on video until I got just outside of Luzerne, Iowa. At this point, as I kept moving, the train beat me to every location. This spot would be the furthest I'd go, being I had to drive all the way back to Nebraska after this. By the time I arrived, I had just missed this westbound intermodal train. It was within a few minutes that UP 6472 got to my location, not going as fast as it was while I was chasing it, but this will have to do. as I'm heading back west, I made one pit stop. I'm in Iowa, why not check out the state capital while I'm here? And that's what I did. I roamed the streets of Des Moines for a little bit just to check out the area. This was a very nice city, not too big and not too small too. I found the Iowa Interstate mainline going right through downtown. No luck on a train here though. I then moved to the west side of the city where I find a railroad junction marking the west side of UP's Des Moines Yard. I pull up in time for a yard job making a move across the diamond. You may recognize this spot from the famous Cops episode where the officer chased down a motorcyclist down this dirt road across the tracks. He got caught in a pile of dust blocking his view until the tracks came up quickly on him. But he couldn't stop in time and got his patrol car stuck just south of the diamond. I never thought I'd find this spot, let alone catch a train here. I'll link the video of the cop story in the information card on the top right, or check the link in the description below. This was one to unexpectedly check off the bucket list. I was fixing to get back on the road until I ran into another train. UP 1216 leads a local towards the yard, passing a fixed approach signal before the interlocking. I got lucked out twice. This was indeed a pretty good day. With now just under 3 hours to get back to Lincoln and a lot of packing ahead of me, I called it a day. Special thanks to Andrew Stevenson for the heads up and providing updates on the 4141. Thanks for coming along on the adventure as always. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new to my channel, and don't forget to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on another new video. That's it for today from Des Moines, Iowa, along the UP Perry subdivision.